I am Ripper the Clown, the unpredictable cartoon character coming to life. And if you've seen my WrestleMania 32 prediction and result videos, you know that I'm not a fan of this year's WrestleMania product. However, one thing made me extremely happy about WrestleMania 32, so I decided to dedicate an entire video to it. And what made me happy about WrestleMania 32 were the Hall of Fame inductions of Stan the Lariat Hansen and the Big Boss Man. Now, these two guys should have been inducted years ago. Much like Jake the Snake Roberts, I call it the Jake the Snake Roberts syndrome, where, you know, every year for a long time, people were waiting for Jake the Snake Roberts to get inducted. He kept getting overlooked, and they finally inducted Jake in 2014. But much like, you know, Jake, the Big Boss Man, and Stan the Lariat Hansen should have been inducted years ago. It's the Jake Roberts syndrome when it comes to the Hall of Fame. Thankfully, they've got Boss Man and Stan Hansen inducted. And I'm going to say something bold and daring about the careers of the Big Boss Man and Stan Hansen. And it's going to piss a lot of people off, but it's the freaking truth. Here we go. The collective talent of the Big Boss Man and Stan Hansen is greater than the combined talent of the entire current WWE roster combined. Truth. Absolute truth. And I have to say, Stan Hansen's speech was awesome. It was one of the best, I think, ever when it comes to Hall of Fame speeches. And, you know, I like how he paid tribute to Bruiser Brody, who is one of my all-time favorites, who, much like Hansen and Boss Man up until this year, also Brody suffers from the Jake the Snake Roberts syndrome. Brody should have been inducted into the Hall of Fame a decade ago. And it's really a shame that he's not in the Hall of Fame. And hopefully now with Hansen in the Hall of Fame, they'll put in Brody next year. That's kind of my hope. Now, go over to WWE.com and check out the interview with Terri Runnels. It is an absolute must-read. It's a very short interview, but it's really, really touching. They show a picture of Terri with her Big Boss Man action figure that she carries with her whenever she's on the road, because her and the Boss Man were road trip buddies. It's just, it's heartwarming, and it puts, I know the Boss Man's induction was special, but reading that little interview made it even more special to me. You know, I've interviewed a lot of wrestlers over the years. I've watched and read a lot of interviews, and the Boss Man's kind of like Owen Hart. You never hear anyone say anything bad about the Boss Man, and who the Boss Man is was really exemplified in that interview with Terri Runnels. It's so sweet and so touching. You have to go read it. Now, if you want to check out really great Big Boss Man and Stan Hansen matches, I suggest that you look for something kind of esoteric. Find the SWS versus WWF. I believe this happened in 1990, and it was broadcast only in Japan, so you may have to dig and look hard to find it. Big Boss Man has an amazing match with Jake the Snake Roberts. I'd have to say that's probably my favorite match when it comes to Jake Roberts matches and Big Boss Man matches, the #1 match for both those guys. I absolutely love that match. I've watched it dozens of times. And Stan Hansen faced Hulk Hogan in an amazing match. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, Rip, man, like, how can you describe any Hulk Hogan match as amazing? And it's true. I mean, really, when you probably weren't expecting me to say Hulk Hogan in having a great match with anybody. And, you know, yeah, you were saying the term an amazing match in the same sentence as Hulk Hogan is really not something you hear very often. But that Stan Hansen versus Hulk Hogan match is absolutely phenomenal. Hansen storms the ring. He tears through the ring announcer. I think his name was Mel Phillips. He just knocks him down. I mean, it's amazing. And the whole thing from start to finish is a fantastic match. Hansen pulled something out of Hogan that you will never see in any American match. Hogan worked so hard in that match, and Hansen made him look like $1 million freaking dollars. It's the best match of Hulk Hogan's career, and one of my all-time favorite matches as well. It's probably the only all-time favorite match with Hulk Hogan involved. So there you have it. That's my take on Stan Lariat Hansen and the Big Boss Man. Now check out my pop culture and pro wrestling comedy channel on YouTube. I have a ton of interviews. I have a ton of pro wrestling comedy videos, and I've been digging through the archives here at the Ripper compound, and I recently found an interview that I did with Max Payne from circa 2001, and then an interview with Barbara Brody, the widow of Bruiser Brody, from, I believe, 2011. And I want to be publishing those on my YouTube channel, Ripper the Clown Show, very soon, so check back often, and thanks for watching.